Shalom. And let's start off by giving our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Harakah Kadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone. Salutations to the Ophelet that's pushing this truth across four corners of the earth, all for truth and sincerity. This I'm gonna want about back getting us sitting. This one going to real quick. You know how this place America, Babylon Great. These so-called white people, red Edomite devils, our empowering rulership, how they time, a rule is at an end, this place America, Babylon Great is coming to an end. We at the end of it, ain't not too much time left for this place, the days are speeding by fast, so it's not too much longer, me myself first and foremost, and those that believe in Lord Yahweh Shai, just keep the faith, keep believing Lord Yahweh Shai, just keep fighting, man, to the end. Keep believing, keep fighting to the end, because like I say, this place America, Babylon Great, and these so-called white people, red Edomite devils, they time of their rulership. Is at its end. There's not too much time left. So and like saying, Lord Yahweh Shai gonna make his return. Lord Yahweh Shai will make his return. So we'll get to Ecclesiastes 7 and 8. I'm gonna start off with Ecclesiastes 7 and 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. So better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. So better is the end of this so-called white people, red Edomite devils, this wicked rulership, this wicked system, right? That's ran by these so-called white people, red Edomite devils, right? We're at the end of it, and I say, being that this is the end, things gonna get, things not gonna be, like it used to be, normalcy, or things finna get rough, finna get tough, it's finna get had to be on the move, on the go, it's gonna get, it's gonna come a time where the cities of America is gonna be, in chaos, that's the time that's ahead that's gonna come about, people are gonna be out here just losing it, and so forth, this economy, right? This financial system is gonna crash, the stock market, this dollar, is gonna crash eventually, soon, that's not too far. So, hey, we're at the end of it, man, better than the beginning of it, because the beginning, for the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites, which are Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino natives, which are Israelites, in the beginning, had to deal with, the punishment, Holocaust, going to slavery, being in slavery, being in those chains and being whipped it, and so forth, but we're at the end of it now. We're at the end of this captivity. We're at the end of this captivity, being under these so-called white people, red Edomite devils, right? And it still is our captivity until the Yahushua returns. Deliver. Yahushua gonna deliver his elect of the Israelites, so-called Negro, Latinos, and natives. So-called Negro, Latino natives, right? On the elect Israelites, 2/3 Israelites not gonna make it. Hopefully I'm probably right number to escape the wrath of judgments of the Lord Yahweh shall be delivered. But this is the end of this rulership. Better is the patient spirit than the proud spirit, So better is the patient spirit, but the patient, I said the elect. The elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites gonna be patient and wait upon Lord Yahweh Shai, to bring down these wicked so-called white red Edomite doubles, right? That's in power. The elect is gonna wait upon the Lord Yahweh Shai, but the proud in spirit, they're gonna be proud and think they know it all, or think they got all figured out, blah blah, think that they invincible, not knowing that there's a Most High, Yahweh Shai, he's gonna bring down these proud wicked Edomite devils, or these proud, 2/3 Israelites, that think that they invincible, got it all figured out, whatever, right? But the patient spirit is gonna wait upon the Lord Yahweh Shai, the elect. That's the elect. Hopefully, on probably righteous number. I'll go from there. Let's see. We'll go to Second Ezra. Go 6. So this is gonna be a quick one. It's not gonna be too long. Second Ezra 6 and 7. Then Esau said, "What shall be the part and asunder of times? When shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth?" So Ezra asking the question. About what's gonna be the end, and then what's gonna be the beginning of it that follows, right? Second Ezra 6 and 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. So like I said, that's symbolic. Esau, Jacob, came out of Rebecca's womb. Esau came out first, but Jacob Esau came out first, and Jacob held first the heel of Esau. So that's symbolic of even though Esau came out first out of Rebecca's womb, Esau held it. Jacob held the heel of Esau. That's symbolic of Jacob pulling down Esau, which are the so-called white people, red Edomite doubles, right? And Jacob's name was later changed to Israel. Which are, like I said, the Israelites today are the so-called Negro, Latino natives, right? So that's just a symbolic of that. That's gonna be how it's shy. Returning, bringing down these Edomite devils out of power, But on this verse, 2 Ezra 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So Esau is the end of the world. This is the end of these so-called white people, red Edomite devils. So this is the end of it. And Jacob is the beginning of the fall. So Jacob, like I said, Jacob's name will later change Israel. So what's gonna be, the next world, or the next, people to be in power, nation, is the so-called Negro, Latino natives, which are the Israelites. The Israelites gonna be the next, nation, to be in rulership and power of the earth and more. When the Lord Yahushua bring down this so-called white people, these so-called white Edomite devils, so-called white people, red Edomite devils out of the power seat, out of rulership. So, hey, we at the end. We at the end of this rulership, man. Not much time left. It's all about just keep the faith, Lord Yahushua, hold on. Keep the faith, Lord Yahushua, to go for me. That goes for me first and foremost. Saying those that believe in the Lord Yahweh, keep fighting, keep pushing, keep believing, until the end. So with that, hope this was fine. Didn't want to make this too long. So again, I like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Harak HaKadosh, to the apostle elders, to the sister brothers, to the few Akwaf, Sisters, to do list, keep the faith, and y'all shall keep fighting. That's it. Shalom.